Hi, my name is Philip Scorza, and we're here for the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society in the historic old Saugus Train Station. And I'm with a gentleman that I've wanted to meet for a long time. His name is Bob Mitchell, and he's going to tell us about his life. Bob, thank you for joining us today.
Well, it's my great pleasure, Phil. It's a flattering opportunity.
I need to start from the beginning. When were you born and where?
I was born on October 12th. That's the real Columbus Day.
Okay.
They always change it now, so it'll be on the Monday so they can sell more liquor. But I was born in 1912, October 12th, 1912, in Los Angeles, corner of Sunset and Beaudry. Of course, it's Cesar Chavez now.
Okay. And you sort of grew up with the motion picture industry.
Well, that's true.
Because movies started just a little bit before you were born.
In 1910,
right.
Hollywood residents voted to become part of Los Angeles municipality, and down in Culver City there were 5 major studios. There was Metro and Mayer and Ince and Keystone and Hal Roach.
Hal Roach, okay.
And so the authorities in Culver City announced they were going to change the name of Culver City to Hollywood, California. And the producers in Hollywood and the citizens were horrified, and they pressured Congress. It was the first time they'd done that, to make a separate post office, so there'd never be another Hollywood, California. And to this day, there's a great big building there at Fountain.
Tell me, you got into the motion picture industry how, and what did you do?
I started with the piano lessons. My mother was passionately fond of music. That's the mystery. We'll never know how. She was a poor farmer's daughter, and she must have heard music somewhere and loved it and never had the opportunity, so she got it vicariously. She started me when I was 4 years old, and I had to take a piano lesson from a teacher, and she wrote down everything the teacher said. I had to practice an hour a day.
Really?
They call it child abuse nowadays, but from the time I was 4 till I was 10.
You played the piano every day for an hour?
An hour.
Okay.
That is 6 days a week.
You got pretty good at it then.
I certainly, well, and it wasn't just sit down and play, dear. As she says, you'll go out in the orchard and pull off a twig and take the leaves off. I had bare legs, and if I gave her a bad time, which I usually did, why, she whipped me.
Oh, okay.
But, you know,
that is child abuse.
She wasn't alcoholic, and she didn't have a vile temper, and every time she punished me, I knew I deserved it, so I never resented it because I did give her a bad time. And then when I got to be 10, she was very religious, and of course there were no electronic organs. Pipe organs were in churches and synagogues, theaters, and millionaires' homes, and practicing was not allowed, so it was very, very hard. What you would do, you'd master piano, usually graduate from college if you wanted to be a musician. Then you'd find a musician, a church organist that had maybe 5 hours a week he could give to pupils. You'd have to learn organ an hour a week at the lesson. And so there was one pipe organ in the Sierra Madre in the Episcopal Church. It was an English colony and founded in 1907. And of course the Episcopal Church is in communion with the Church of England.
Right.
So they were, that was the top echelon of socially and economically.
Was this a church that you went to, your family went to?
Well, my mother went to that church. My father was agnostic.
Okay.
And made a nice combination between the two. So she went down and asked the priest if I could practice. He said, no, he was from Canada, quite stuffy. No one can play the organ but our organist. She told him what she thought about a man of the cloth that wouldn't allow a child to learn to play the instrument used to praise Almighty God. He said, well, he'd make an exception in my case without setting a precedent. Okay. But I'd have to study with their organist. Well, Mother's bubble was broken. She wanted me to study with Ernest Douglas, who was considered the finest organ teacher. He's from Boston. And she didn't have much confidence in local talent. And actually, the teacher was a good teacher. She had studied with a good organist, and the main thing was I was afraid of her. She had her hair put up in a knot and a pencil behind her ear, and so I'd hit a wrong pedal, and she'd say, don't look at your feet. And she scared me so that she actually was a good teacher.
Okay.
And I wasn't professional because she didn't pay me, but I played for her wedding, my first public appearance.
You played for your teacher's wedding?
Yes.
Okay.
And then she retired. Then I could go study with the teacher that my mother wanted me to study with. And then we didn't have any movie in Sierra Madre, and my mother and father didn't approve of movies anyhow.
Okay.
And they thought they were cheap and vulgar, which they were. And so...
And they still are.
So I never got a chance to see movies except when my playmate's mother would drive us down to Pasadena. And I went down to see The Courtship of Miles Standish and Treasure Island. And so, you know, when we went into a movie, we never realized there was a projector showing the picture or anyone playing music. We just like you turn on your TV, just took it for granted. There was this beautiful music coming from up high in the theater. And then after I started taking organ lessons, I said, well, my mother said, there's a pipe organ. I want to play that. So she took me down. The young manager, Mr. McManus, was impressed because it was so unusual for a child to play the organ. And
now, how old are you at this time? This is
12 years old.
So you're 12 years old. Okay.
I started when I was 10.
10, and now you're 12.
I was tall enough to reach the pedals. And so they often had, if the picture was weak, they'd have something extra. And so he put me on playing Christmas carols on December 25th, 1924.
Okay.
And they had enough people in Pasadena, they show 5 shows a day. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, continuous shows.
Okay.
And then...
So you played for 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9, all these shows. You played...
Well, it wasn't playing for the movie, you see, it was it was an interlude.
Oh, okay, an interlude during the intermission.
So that was, there were so few customers at 1 o'clock that they never had the organist come in till 2. And then it was Emily Hoff, and she played from 2 to 7. And with the union, you get 15 minutes off every hour. When they have the newsreel, she'd play that, leave that without any music. She could go out. And then the top organist played from 7 to 11, the 2 chop shows. Okay. That was Jack Forrest. He was a Scotsman. He'd had legitimate training. And while I never took lessons from him, I think he was the biggest influence because he was my mentor. The 2 things that are very important that have to be mentioned, there are very few pianos in California because they didn't transport well on the, with all due respect to the depot. Right. they got out of tune. So there were very, very few pianos in every church and every school, and like my grandmother had these little pump organs. And then the Panama Canal opened in 1915. Right. My parents went to the exposition in San Francisco and San Diego, but they left me behind. I didn't get to go. But then the pianos poured in through the canal, and people discarded the little reed organs. Okay. My mother's best friend was a supervisor of music in the orchestral music in the elementary schools in Los Angeles, and they go in around every 2 weeks to supervise what the orchestra was doing. And she was at Cahuenga School, and she just at random opened a closet. Here was this little old reed organ with about 10 years of dust on it, and she told the principal, she knew I was studying pipe organ, I know a little boy would like to have that. She says, well, the Board of Education can't give anything away, but you can buy it for $1. Well. So she bought it for me, and I was telling my father, Annie Mae bought me this organ. He says, yes, Annie Mae paid $1 for it, and Dad had to pay $10 to have it brought out to Sierra Madre. But the thing was, my mother also took me from the time I was 8 till I was 16 for 8 years to the symphony concerts. And it bored me to death. I had to go from October to May every 2 weeks on Friday afternoon. Oh. And, you know, you can't close your ears. And while I was terribly bored, I mean, this Beethoven and Mozart and Tchaikovsky and Sibelius and Rachmaninoff is all sinking in. So then when I got this little organ, if I practiced an hour on the piano without giving my mother a bad time, then she'd drive down to the Church of the Ascension. If I practiced an hour on the organ without giving her a bad time, then I could fool with the organ unsupervised. Oh. And so I'd play it. I'd find a chord. Oh, I'd find it from that symphony, you know. And then I'd find a melody. And then I'd find I could make up a melody. So I really learned to improvise through the influence of the hearing so many symphonies. I was down there. I was allowed to practice. No two pipe organs are alike, even the same model, the same make.
Really?
They depend a lot on voicing and on acoustics.
Mm-hmm.
So, and actually, the church organ I practiced out was entirely different from the Wurlitzer theater organ in the
movie theater.
And I was sitting there practicing Christmas carols, and all of a sudden, on the screen comes Thomas Meehan in the new Yukon, and had a big traffic jam. I mean, a log jam.
Mm-hmm.
And so
this is a movie. A movie started.
Yeah.
While you
so
were
I just sat there and played.
Okay.
And I went on, and Miss Hoff came in the back door. It was very dark. I didn't see her. She wouldn't. What in the world is happening? Why somebody's playing the organ here? She can't imagine. And like a darn fool kid, when I saw her, I panicked. I jumped up and ran up the aisle. And so my mother came down and explained the situation. And I played my solos on Christmas Day at 3, 5, 7, and 9. Met the organist that way. And while they loved their work, they worked 7 days a week. Sure. And they liked getting off. And the manager liked my playing, and I loved to play. I got to see movies that otherwise my mother overcame her dislike of the, she broadened out a little bit. She was more proud of the fact that at 12 years old I could play as well as the professionals that were giving their life to it. And so that overcame her prejudice against the inappropriate.
So you started playing for the movies when you were 12 then, basically?
Yes, and I played for 4 years until the sound came out. I played until 28. At the very end, Jensen built a new theater called the Colorado. It's still there.
It was the Colorado up just a few years ago.
It's called the Academy now.
The Academy now, right,
yeah.
right.
And they said these two organs were considered the best, and they sent them down there the last few months. And down there I got to play Beau Geste with Ronald Coleman and Noah Beery. And
were they paying you money to do this?
No, I was. I came out because I liked to do it.
Okay.
I was simply a substitute because I liked to do it, and my mother would take me out there 5 times a week. So I'd play these.
Wow.
The show would run a week. The new show came in on Sunday, and they had a church on every corner there, and they had a censor, a local censor, and they always had to see the picture on Sunday first, and they cut out the parts they thought were not appropriate, and then the wags, the seniors from high school, always come down to the 9 o'clock show on Saturday night when they put the forbidden parts back in. They get to see all.
I see. Okay.
So we can learn all those routines.
Right.
So
can we talk a little bit about the music here? Can I get you to play a little bit something for us? I'm going to move in a little closer here.
Well, now let's see.
Now, if we
it's
were
public domain,
yes,
you can always use Stephen Foster. Camping on Races.
Right.
Somebody bet on the bay.
Okay, now you play for silent movies so many times. So if we had a picture, a scene where, let's say, it was a chase.
Yes.
Chase. Can you give us some chase? How about romance? How about danger? Danger. Was there a type of movie that you preferred to play for more than any other type?
Oh,
of movie?
yes.
What was that?
Always a melodrama with a happy ending. My favorite picture is The Iron Horse.
Okay. The train one, yes.
It's historic, and yet it's got the basic plot: a boy meets girl, boy and girl fall in love, boy and girl fight, they make up, and it was all cut in with the actual making of the railroad,
transcontinental railroad,
which
at that time.
was so influential in building our country.
Sure.
And so that's.
So you got to do that one. You got to do action. You got to do romance.
You got that's right. You got the Indians.
Oh yes, of course.
The hostile Indians are trying to.
Did you have a little hostile Indian music for us?
Oh,
What
sure.
would we do for hostile Indian? That's it. That's it.
Tom Tom.
So during one movie you would play a whole gamut of different types of music for.
Yeah.
So it probably would be more interesting to you then because you had a variety of things.
I don't like to play. People like the way I play, but I guess because I'm lazy, I don't like to play for Charlie Chaplin at all because it's just useless. It's so fast. You just have to keep ragtime going all the time. I mean, pie in the face, he falls flat. You know, flat falls and trippy people and kid with a cane and making love to some married woman and the husband. It's just.
That's interesting. I never thought about that because you Charlie Chaplin. Well, like you said, he was just comedy, 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 comedy.
And what was interesting, never in my life did I ever see a Charlie Chaplin picture till I started playing the revival at the Silent Movie Theater in 1990 because Pasadena was so highbrow. It was much too lowbrow for Pasadena people.
Really?
It never showed. Although he was United Artists, we had Doug Fairbanks and Mary Pickford and D.W. Griffith, but never Chaplin.
So-
and never E. Keaton.
So movies were selected for the community. The type of movies for the community.
Well,
That's just what they wanted, of
They had
course.
strict censors there, too.
Yes, I see. So you played for about 4 years, and then now you're 16 years old. Then what did you do for?
Well, then
music.
I got a job in the little church around the corner in Hollywood, the one that was associated with the movie people. They didn't have a Screen Actors Guild, and people came out to get in the movies, and they would be homeless and have no job. So they had this motion picture actors relief fund, and Father Neil Dodd of the Episcopal Church of the Angels was the president, and in fact the offices of the organization were in the church hall, and so I went to work for him. Then I got a job at All Saints Episcopal Church through my teacher's efforts. I was so advanced in music. I was only 16, but they didn't know that. And I went up to Montecito. It was a millionaire colony. They had a professional choir, all paid singers.
So now you're making a living, and you're 16 years old, and you're doing music.
Well, I wouldn't say I was making a living, but at least I was.
You're making some money, though.
I think it was $150 a month, which was a lot of money then.
Sure, sure. I wanted to ask you, when did you eventually start the boys' choir? And
It was actually 1934, and the origin is.
you're
that,
still a young man. You're only about, what, 22 years old now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I was in New York on a scholarship, the New York College of Music sent me up to KNYC to advertise the college. I was to play Liszt and Chopin and try to get students to come in. And it was a hotbed of Nazism, even back there in 1933.
Really? This is in New York.
Adolf Weiss was my teacher, and
Wow.
and he says, I told him I was engaged to play for the Hadassah. The Jewish women just says, choose. That's what I hate about New York. It's all Jews. I said, well, that's probably what the Jews hate about Berlin. It's all Germans. And so he said, what will you play? I said, they want the revolutionary etude. He says, revolution's the sort of Jews are good for. And they had a Turnverein there, and I was able to play for them. We had a program I listened to every hour, every day, the Happy-Go-Lucky Hour. And there's a Fred Bitke, who was obviously the son of a German and some American nurse or something, and he sang German songs that were popular here. So I knew a whole hour of German songs I could play that were popular.
And this is on the radio, so you're playing this on the radio now.
No, I play this for their Turnverein.
Oh.
I mean, they're that's a German club. But on the radio, I went up there and said, well, could I have my own program and sing and play popular music? They said yes. So I had that experience.
Oh.
And
this is in New York, so you had your own
Yes.
program in New York,
Yeah.
and you were popular music. By popular music, you mean the music of the day.
yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So then my father had a stroke, and my mother minimized it. She didn't want to interfere with my education, but friends came out from Sierra Madre and they said, your mother really needs you. Oh. So
so you went back?
I took the Greyhound. I didn't stop at all, and I came out to Los Angeles, and I thought I'd never get a job. It was depth of depression after the stock market crash in '29, and so I was here in '34. Everyone opened up with gay 90s, that's 1890s, beer and pretzels and melodrama.
Like a beer garden sort of a thing.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
And so I'd go around and I'd play 2 or 3 nights, and then no money. So then I'd be home and the phone rang. Bob, where are you? I said, well, I didn't get any money. Oh, we're going to pay you. I said, yeah, I know, it's in the mail. I did it 2 or 3 times, different places. The buildings are still there.
Really?
And so I went to this church where I sang as a choir boy, and one of my teacher's students, Miss Carpenter, an elderly woman, was practicing the organ, and she said, go to St. Brendan's. Says, my girlfriend's trying to get the job there, and she's no good, she said. And so I went over to see this Father Mullane, the Irishman. He was very non-committal. So I went for several more months, and finally I went back to St. Matthias, and she was still practicing. I mean, again, she says, well, let's go over again. She says, because my girlfriend, she won't get it. So I went, and he said, well, by God, you couldn't come in a more propitious time for something must be done. He threw me a key, and I had it for 55 years.
Really?
And so I told him that I could start a boys' choir, which is the ideal. They had a group of, they had a Jewish woman, Florence Russell, was a music teacher, and she had her husband singing tenor, and she had her pupils in there. Fortunately, the Sister Mary Angelista, they had a parochial school, and she was a music teacher. She picked 11 boys that had the talent and the desire. They got a wonderful bonus, too. They got out of math.
Yeah, that's always
good. I practiced them starting on the 3rd of December, 1934. We practiced an hour a day, and I wrote a very simple mass. You know, the midnight mass has been a tradition for centuries. There's nothing in the Bible, but it's a tradition that Jesus was born at midnight. And we had this very unusual bishop. He was a Republican and a teetotaler. Of course, the predominantly American Presbyterian, Baptist, and Methodist and the Congregationalists thought it was a sin to drink alcohol. And Catholics come right from their Christmas party where they're drinking.
Right.
And they say, well, these Catholics can't worship till they're practically drunk. And so the Bishop Cantwell, being this very unusual teetotaling Irishman, he closed for bad midnight mass. So our first mass was 6:30 in the morning. Now imagine, even a professional soprano trying to sing those high notes. It was pretty bad. One of my mother's good friends came, and she couldn't lie, and she says, oh, I think the Catholic service is so impressive. I think the ritual is so meaningful, but she couldn't say this scene was awful. And so we sang at 6:30, then we sang again at 12:15, and then we went on. So that was the beginning of the boys' choir, and I listened to KMTR. It was a radio, and I heard, trying to think of the little girl's name. She was a genius pianist, and Ann Leaf, little Jewish girl.
Okay.
And she was playing for silent movies when she was 16.
Yeah.
Down Grauman's Metropolitan. And she was kind of rude, but she actually gave me good advice. I asked her if she could give me a few lessons on the Robert Morton organ up there, and she says, figure it out for yourself. And it really was the right thing to do. But I went up to that station, and the program director was an Elsie Horner. I went up and asked her if I could have my own program, and she said I could. Of course, I was a union member, and I couldn't play without being paid. So you could do that in the radio. So I said, it's Bob Mitchell with Bob Roberts at the organ. And then I said, afternoon, Bob. I said, Bob doesn't like to talk over the radio. He's kind of bashful. So I was really playing my own accompaniment, but I talked as though it was another person. And then I brought the choir up a couple of times, the Boys and Men for programs. You know, people living nowadays just can't imagine how incredible radio was, because we had telegraph.
It's a totally different medium back then.
We had telegraph and we had telephone,
sure.
and we had transatlantic cable. To have that man 17 miles away talking in our living room, it's just incomprehensible to people of that time.
Sure.
So Vic Dalton said, why couldn't we broadcast the Mass from St. Brendan's? And that way, there were all kinds of religious broadcasts, but no Catholic broadcasts. The Pope forbade the Mass to be broadcast. I probably figured nobody would attend, probably wouldn't give any money. And so, so Dalton asked if we could broadcast the Mass. So the Bishop Campbell didn't know it had been forbidden, and so we asked him. He gave us permission to broadcast on Easter Sunday of 1934, and so we did that. And he said, "Now what am I going to do next week?" I said, "Well, tell them in all churches repeat the Easter music. There's always somebody that wasn't there. Plus the fact that we worked so hard on it that we like to do it twice." And so we did it every Sunday thereafter until December 7th, 1941. They told us afterward Pearl Harbor's been bombed.
Gotcha.
But casting director heard us on broadcasting. We got the church, the broadcast. A casting director heard us needed a boys' choir for That Girl from Paris, the first picture we made with Lily Pons, and Jack Oakey was a comedian, and that's how it went in the movies. And then we did one with Bing Crosby as Star Maker, and then Going My Way, and then The Bishop's Wife, of course. And,
so you did several movies with Bing Crosby then, a couple movies.
Yeah, and White Christmas, yes. And then we got with Angels with Dirty Faces and with Cagney and O'Brien and the Yankee Doodle Dandy.
You did one called Bells of Rosarita.
Yes.
Yes. Now, who was the star of that movie?
That was Roy Rogers.
Roy Rogers.
We did three of those with Roy Rogers. We did Song of Arizona and Idaho.
Hear what the bells have to say. Ding, ding, dong. Ding, ding, dong. They speak of romance today.
Though time doesn't wait, still perhaps before it is too late, she may find what she's dreaming of.
You were all fine, boys.
Now, were you personally in front of the camera at any time for these movies?
Only on Blondie and Society, because Bob Sparks was the producer. That was Penny's husband, and we did a lot of favors for her. When she'd sing, we'd back her up, with the choir, so she wouldn't have to hire an orchestra. And so she would insisted that we be showed on that.
Please, play In the Shade of the Old Apple Tree.
I'm afraid we don't know it.
Oh. Mommy, we know trees.
Sure.
I think that I shall never see.
I think that I shall never see.
I think in Thornbirds, which was made for TV.
TV with Richard Chamberlain.
I had the best haircut I ever had, but I was supposed to be a priest, and I said, well, it's so ridiculous up there with an organ, I should be playing the organ. So I got a union wage for that. But
did they put you in the priest outfit?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
But only my back showed. But I was playing the organ.
All right.
But that's the only time
Right.
that I was in the movie. And even the Bells of Rosarita had my compositions in it, but I was in the service at the time.
So you did not get to actually perform.
I wasn't actually there. Dave Street was my assistant.
Right.
And he did that.
Right. You've worked with some of the people that I've always loved to have known and met if I could have.
I never meet the silent people because I was only with the exhibitors. I mean, I met, as I say, Mary Pickford,
right.
And
you must have met Cary Grant.
Oh, of course, in
the scene that I'm thinking of is in The Bishop's Wife, and Cary Grant takes Loretta Young to the church that they used to be at. And in this scene, the choir boys start coming in one after another, and of course Cary Grant just holds his hand up because he's an angel. But you're behind the scenes directing
yes.
the choir boys.
We join with them in adoration. We join with them in adoration. Leap holy, hearts of creation. That thou wouldst grant us, Lord,
Those were your boys in the movie.
Yes.
I presume they got some money for being.
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, it wasn't just your. Yeah, right.
And you know, Cary Grant was a Jew, and Loretta Young's Catholic. The Catholics were kind of offended at the bishop's wife. They didn't realize that the Episcopal Church has bishops. You know.
Oh yes.
So the bishop's wife, it sounds like it's.
Yeah, they never defined the religion too much, other than the fact that it was, I guess,
It was Anglican.
Anglican. But they never really said that in the film.
And they couldn't use the black boy. It was set somewhere there were no blacks.
Oh, is that right?
But he recorded. But now in.
So there's no black boy in the choir in that picture?
No.
But there wasn't Going My Way, wasn't there?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
That was a different situation.
Yeah.
Street kids.
Right.
But we made with Rogers and the Stair. We made Carefree, and we had it's the finale. It's a swimming pool, and they sing "You've been locked in his arms ever since heaven knows where. Won't you change partners and dance with me?
Right.
You never have to change partners again." So they said, "Now we're Jews and we're used to being discriminated against." But said, "We're not in this for our health. We can't show a picture in the South that'll have a black boy with white boys."
Oh,
and
really?
So we paid him to record, and then they paid him not to be photographed. So they gave him the same money. But it's incredible now.
Isn't that amazing?
They made
Isn't that
a lot of progress.
Isn't
in
that amazing? What did the little boy think? Did the little boy know that? Did he know he was being discriminated against?
Oh, sure. Well,
he did. You just had to basically go tell him,
he'd been discriminated against all his life.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And I never knew where I got the. I'm a social reformer. I went into the priest's house. I spent quite a lot of time when I first started there. I said, "I want to put a Negro in the choir." He says, "What do you want to spoil that fine choir for?" We put the black boy in, and he says, "What part of the South did you say you were from?" I said, "Well, I'm not from the South at all." And ever after that, every Sunday he went over to the choir boys and shook hands with the black boy, made a big thing about it. And in fact, it helped him then later on when the civil rights came in and when the bishop ordered them to integrate. He was always glad if there was some black in the men and boys choir.
Yeah. Are the boys still around? They were boys then, obviously.
Well, in my
do you still have any
95th
contact
birthday
with?
on the 11th of October last year, we had 25 old gray-haired men. That were
Are you
old.
kidding me?
We had the boy that sang "A Mule is an Animal with Long
Yes,
Funny Ears."
yes. He's still around, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
That's
great.
He's very loyal, and
So I'm presuming all these guys are probably in their 60s, 70s now? Yeah.
and the little boy that he's out of town, the one that raised his eyebrows, that's Dick Burr, and
They're on the recording, too, as I read. They're on the
yes.
record.
Oh, yeah.
They're on the original Bing Crosby.
Yeah.
Yeah?
And
Oh, wonderful.
there were two of the boys there, Leonard Malin and Vince Morton, my caretaker. He was the only boy with glasses in the Bishop's Wife, and he's a genius, marvelous musician. The black boy was there that was in, Going My Way.
Oh.
He was Councilman's son, Lindsay.
He was the son of a councilman in Los Angeles.
Yeah. Well, I never thought about it. Then I realized, you know, when we say we'll have one black boy, it's just as discriminating as if we say we wouldn't have any. And then I started, and we had two, and we used to depend on women's clubs a lot for our engagements. And women's clubs kind of built the country in a large way.
Yeah, they don't have those anymore, women's clubs.
No, they don't need them anymore. We've got Women's Lib. But they showed women, we didn't think women would have enough intelligence to run a business. And
I guess you're wrong about that.
in the same way with the blacks, we thought that they really didn't have enough intelligence to do more than menial jobs. And
look how much has changed in your lifetime.
yeah, I lived pretty near all of the 20th century.
Because you were born right after the invention of the airplane.
Yeah.
And you've seen all of this change that's come out. Not just technology, the computer and the cell phone, but you've also seen the attitude, the culture. You probably lived through one of the most exciting
I guess so.
periods of our country's history.
When I see these black people, it could be a governor and an attorney and a judge.
Sure.
And I remember I had one boy in the choir, and his father had been a professor in a Negro college, and I really felt emotional about it. I really cried. He was shining shoes, and I thought that was just so awful.
The father was, or the boy was? The father was shining shoes, or the boy? The father was.
Yeah.
And he had been a professor. Isn't that amazing?
It's awful.
Do you ever meet anybody that's older than you?
Oh, yes.
You do?
Did you ever hear Rosarita on the radio? I guess you're too young.
No.
She played for years on the radio. Rosarita plays a movie every day down in Florida, and she's 105.
Are you kidding me? Isn't that
So
amazing?
nice.
Isn't that
She used to
amazing?
play all the time.
Yeah.
So there's always somebody belittling,
Well, thank you very much. This has been terrific. I've really enjoyed sitting here talking
thanks so
with
much,
you.
Phil. It was a
I know
lot of
you've
fun.
got a whole evening ahead of you here at the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society, and thanks for coming out and being
pleasure.
a part of this. Thank you very much.
This program is available on DVD from the Santa Clarita Valley Historical Society. Pick one up when you visit the Saugus Train Station Museum in Old Town Newhall, weekends 1 to 4.